Hello, welcome to today's video, which is on my favorite Genshin Impact resources / resources that people in my community have shared with me that are just generally super cool and super useful. I'm going to talk about some general resources as well as some character resources that will just kind of help you out. I'm sure you've seen or heard or use a lot of the resources I'm going to talk about today, but maybe you can find something new to bookmark to help you out in your Genshin Impact experience. But before we get into it, don't forget to join me on twitch.tv/Mijin, and for the first time ever, I'm going to tell you about my Discord. I never advertise my Discord because I don't know. You can join it if you want, but I just never advertise it. But the reason I'm talking about it today is because it's kind of the whole catalyst for what caused me to make this video right now. Basically, we recently introduced a Help a Himbo channel. Thank you, Mojo, for that great name suggestion. And in the channel, I've pinned a few really helpful resources, the ones I'm going to talk about now, as well as some people in the community have been making their own, which is just awesome and amazing. Love you guys. Thank you so much. But it's not just a place to share resources, it's also a place to ask questions. So if you have a question, I will try my best to answer it, or someone in the community will try their best to answer it and hopefully help you out. So that's why I'm talking about the Discord today. Feel free to join. You could also share memes
or hot men
or photos of your cute animals. We like that too. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So the first resource I'm going to talk about is my absolute favorite for when it comes to looking into characters' kits, and that is KeqingMains.com. Don't let the name fool you. It's not just Keqing Waifu World, Keqing 24/7, maybe a small part of it, but not all of it. Basically, it's just a big group of people who pool their vast Genshin knowledge and put it into this website. I personally go to it first for when a new character drops and I want to look into their kit. I found that all the guides I've ever read and looked into have been really well researched, accurate, and in-depth. So that's why I like this website a lot for when I'm looking at character kits, constellations, all that good stuff. They also lay it out in a really straightforward manner so everyone can understand. 10 out of 10 recommend Keqing Mains. Love them. The next website I'm going to talk about is the Genshin Impact Wiki. You know, the wiki. This website I prefer to use for more overview type things. For example, if I'm looking at a quest and I want to see the dialogue options that would maybe lead to an achievement, or if I'm going to look for character voice lines, they have all the voice lines in there as well.
Pace yourself before you erase yourself.
Really, really useful. Also just general information, like if I'm curious about past events or birthday images, they have all that stuff on there. Basically just Genshin Wikipedia, like that's what it is. Definitely a great site, like that one as well. All right, the next website I'm going to talk about is the Enka card builder. I'm sure you've seen these character cards floating around and you might be curious, like, how did someone make this? It's Enka. I've used a few different character card builders in the past, but the reason I like the Enka one is because I have to do literally nothing. All you have to do is put in your user ID and it pulls the character information from the characters you have on your profile displayed. It also refreshes every so often. You'll see a little timer in the corner. So if you change who's in your profile, it will update and show you that character's build. So it is so easy to use. You don't have to do anything. It's there. And then you can save it and share it. It is so easy. My favorite character card builder that I've used by far. 1,000 out of 10 recommend. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is something I have spoken about in the past. I think in my mildly interesting video, I don't know, it was a long time ago. Basically a crystal farming route resource. And the reason I like the one I'm talking about here is because it not only shows you where the crystals are located, but also how to tell where they will be. In case you didn't know, the crystal spawning locations in your world are affected by your ley lines for that day. So if you learn how to read the ley lines and learn who to talk to, you can kind of cut out time from your route by skipping the areas that are not going to have crystal chunks. So this is how I learned how to farm in Mondstadt and Sumeru. It's a little Imgur album. Originally I found it on Reddit, but I'll link you to the album. But it's really nicely laid out. It explains it really well. And it's a great way to learn your route so that you can just start farming crystals. I have one for Sumeru I will link as well. I'm not as familiar with that one. Same thing, ley lines. Who do you talk to? Where are your crystals? I really recommend farming crystal chunks if you have the time, because you are definitely going to run into situations later in the game where you need mystical enhancement ore. Weapons take a lot of it. You can only make 45 a day. So get on that grind. There's also quite a few crystals in the chasm that drop 3 to 4 chunks instead of like 1 to 2. And the route I've been using for that was provided to me by our friend Gloam in the Discord. And the reason I'm mentioning him is because he's one of the people who started putting together his own spreadsheet and shared in the Discord. I don't really know what to call it yet. I'm kind of gonna refer to it as Gloam's obscure farming routes. Just kidding, I'm gonna call it Gloam's guides because that rolls off the tongue. Basically, the harder to find stuff or the routes that aren't super straightforward. I'm sure we've all run into a situation where we've been farming or in the spot that the map tells us to be in, but where's the object? Where is it? I can't find it. Where is it? Sometimes it's underground, sometimes it's in a weird spot. And so I think what Gloam's gonna do is kind of write out little details of maybe some harder to find areas, because sometimes a little pin on a map is not enough. Right now he's got Crystal Chunks, Cecilia's, and the Consecrated Beasts for Alhaitham's weapon. But I've actually been using this a lot, especially the Consecrated Beast ones, because I needed it for Alhaitham's weapon. And he mentions on the map helpful notes as well as what weapons they're for. So I've been liking this one. Hopefully he's gonna add more soon, but great little resource. Thank you, Gloam. All right, the next resource I'm gonna talk about, I'm sure you've heard about. They are interactive maps. So there's 2 interactive maps I'm gonna mention. One of them is the official Hoyolab map, but the other one I think actually came first. Like, I think Hoyolab made an interactive map after this Genshin interactive map. I'll link both of them. Some people prefer one over the other for various reasons. I personally don't use either of them. I'm more of a roam and find it as I find it kind of gal. I just like to run around and see it when I see it. But if you want to actually pinpoint things, chests, Oculus, materials, it's all on an interactive map. So that's a great resource if you like it. Alright, next I'm going to talk about a few character resources that can help you build characters, plan characters, all that good stuff. The first one is Paimon.moe. Moe? I don't know. I use this as a wish counter. So basically there's little instructions if you want to import your wish history. It's really easy to follow, but basically it'll take all your wish history, put it on the website, so you'll be able to see what pity you got something at, if you lost a 50-50, how you compare to the other people who have imported their data, and it's just really interesting. I find it particularly useful because if I'm editing a video where I'm counting my wishes in the corner, it's nice to line it up with the website information, because then I can see if I've counted correctly, since whatever number I end up on my 5-star has to line up with whatever number they gave me on the website. So that's why I really like it. There's so much to do on this website though. It'll tell you what resources to farm today. You can plan out characters. It is very, very helpful. Definitely one of my favorites. Love it for the wishing stats, and there's a lot you can do with it. The next resource I'm going to talk about is the community character builds from the Genshin helper team. So basically this team of people contributes to this one spreadsheet that helps you build characters. The reason I like it is because it's very much on a glance. Like, you can just bam, 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 check out what subsets you'll want on what artifacts, what weapons, and for various builds as well. They don't just have like a one size fits all kind of build. For example, you know I love my DPS Benny. They have different Benny options, not just support Benny, but if you want to build DPS Benny, here's what you should be looking for, stuff like that, helpful notes. It's just really nice to have it all in one handy dandy spreadsheet. You will notice throughout this video that I really like spreadsheets. Hi, it's me, I'm editing. I thought a really good joke. What do you call a spreadsheet in bed? A bed sheet. Okay, bye. But yeah, this is a great one. They organize it by element. You just click and find out what you need. Super simple, like this one a lot. The next little resource I'm going to talk about is the damage calculator. This one's super cool because you can just input your character's information, weapons they're running, artifacts they have, and kind of calculate what kind of damage you can get from them. It also has little team slots, so you can basically put in what team you'd be running, what buffs you'd be getting, like every little detail you can put into this calculator, and it'll give you an idea about how much reaction damage you can get, how much your skill can do. It's really cool, and it's pretty helpful because sometimes, you know, you're playing, and unless you're recording your screen and you're going to watch it back later, it can be hard to see all the numbers coming out. It's happening so fast and you're focusing on things. So this is a great little tool and definitely recommend it. It's easy to use. All the instructions are on it. Save your character, save your setup. It is super cool. The next resource I'm going to talk about is another Keqing Mains resource by Zakharov in their Discord, and it's an energy recharge calculator. So this is great because it gives you an idea of how much energy you should be aiming for. Same thing, you're going to have to input teams, artifacts, all that stuff to kind of get an idea of how much energy your character is going to need. You will have to make a copy of this. It's a spreadsheet, so just copy it and then you'll be able to fill it out. But it's pretty straightforward and I think a really good idea, not only for calculating how much energy you'll need to get a good rotation going, but also how little energy you can get away with. I personally tend to feel out how much energy I need, but I could definitely optimize my teams by finding out how little energy they need, because every energy recharge roll on an artifact could be moved into like a crit stat, and you can kind of optimize it that way, basically so that you're getting exactly how much energy you need while still getting as much crit, EM, whatever as possible. So this is a handy dandy tool, really, really useful. Keqing Mains really doing the most out here. Thank you. The next little resource I'm going to talk about is another community resource made by my slag Passer. He hates when I use slag wrong. Basically, he's in the process of making these nice little planner images that just tell you what you need to farm on what day. It gives you the whole week view so that you can just, you know, take a glance at it and that's what you need to farm. Again, I like that he's put it all in a spreadsheet so we can access it really quickly, really easily. Eventually, all the characters will be in there. Right now, it's just the current banner characters as well as all the standard banner characters. So I think he'll make them and update them as the characters come out. But it's a handy dandy little resource. Gives you a quick at a glance of what you need. Thanks for making that Passer. 10 out of 10, my best slag. The next next little resource is an interesting one. It is called the Genshin Optimizer. Now I think this is particularly helpful because Genshin does not have an in-game feature where you can save sets and weapons and basically put them together collectively and move them together collectively. So if you move something, you just gotta remember what you moved. And that can get complicated and tricky when you have a lot of artifacts and a bad memory like I do. So this optimizer is helpful because it'll kind of help you optimize characters based on what artifacts you have, weapons, stuff like that. So you can kind of do your planning in this instead of moving all your artifacts around in the game and then forgetting where they went. I just think it's super cool. Again, another little kind of min-max tool that you can use to help optimize your teams. And that about does it for today's video. I hope that it was helpful and that you found some new resources that you can use to help you out. If you have a resource that has not been shared here and you want to share it, please do. Link us in the comments below, share it in the Discord, share it on Twitch, wherever. It's always nice to find something new and helpful because I'm sure there's a billion-and-one resource out there and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So please do share. It is welcomed and appreciated. But don't forget to join us on twitch.tv/Meijin, MEIJIN, or join the Bunny Circus Discord. The link's in the description. You could just accept the invite and you'll be in and share a dank meme with us. But that about does it for today's video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye! This is the second time I am filming this today because the first time my mic was not on. So, that was great.